Because the annual massacre, otherwise known as silage harvest, is taking place right now in Point Reyes National Seashore, I thought this was a good time to talk about a few things I've been wanting to talk about. If you've contemplated cutting down on your meat and dairy intake or removing meat and dairy from your diet, you've probably encountered people who say things like, well, you're causing more animals to die, or what about the feelings of plants and all the plants that you're killing? That's not a very well thought out argument, and I'm going to show you why. And I don't have to go to some horrific industrial farm in the Central Valley or somewhere in Nebraska. Once again, I use our own Point Reyes National Seashore as a perfect example of what's wrong with this. When you look across Point Reyes National Seashore at the land leased to the ranchers, it's either grazing land for the cattle or fields where crops are grown to feed cattle. Now, if you actually are concerned about the feelings of plants or the killing of plants, you need to remember that these plants are being grown to be killed. And then they are being fed to animals that are going to be killed afterwards. So please cut the BS about being concerned about plants. Most of the crops in the United States are grown to feed cattle, which means that meat eaters are killing more plants than non-meat eaters are. And then you kill the animals afterward anyway. But it gets worse than that. Not only are the plants being chopped down, animals in that field are being chopped up. You are literally witnessing the murder of native animals that are hiding in or nesting in that field in the springtime, right when they are their most vulnerable. And here come the combine blades. They're not just chopping up plants, they're also chopping up animals. And then that gets fed to the cows, who get chopped up later on. And by the way, thanks to genetic modification, etc., we grow animals so that we can kill them sooner. So those of you who are arguing that not eating meat is causing animals to die, who are you? Are you the people that are raising animals for the sake of killing them? Or are you the people that are purchasing the products from the industry that exists to kill animals? Plants are producers. They are a primary source of food for everything on this planet. If you want to pretend that we are violating the rights or hurting the feelings, that means nothing on this planet gets to eat. Next, by insisting on eating meat, you are being incredibly inefficient. As the second law of thermodynamics states, you lose almost all the energy each step going up the food chain. You only get 10% of what was in the level below you, which means humans pretending that we are up at the top are the most inefficient eaters of them all. There is a place for that type of inefficient consumption. Those are called apex predators, who are meant to control populations below them. But there are only a few of those by nature's design. For example, before we wiped them all out, there were around 400,000 lions. Only 400,000 of these meat eaters, compared to nearly 8 billion of us who don't regulate populations. We raise slave animals just for them to die, while wiping out wildlife populations to make room for those slave animals that exist only to die. And then, with our bellies full, some of us go out and kill even more wild animals, pretending that we are playing a part in regulating nature. The world's wild mammal biomass has been reduced to 4% by us, and we think that there's still a role for us to go out and kill those animals to regulate their populations? Come on, you're killing because you like to kill. But before even bringing in the scientific argument, it didn't matter, because I already showed that by continuing to eat meat, you are killing both plants and animals. You're just doing it in a way that brings the earth to its knees faster. Be aware, when you go to Point Reyes National Seashore this weekend, that those trucks and those combines that you see in the field are killing animals before your very eyes. They're not just chopping up the plants that are going to be fed to cattle, not to humans. They are chopping up animals in that field that are trying to use those plants as habitat in a national seashore. How dare those animals try to live in a national seashore? Shouldn't they know that that land is prioritized for the private profit of an industry that shouldn't even exist anymore? That's the Point Reyes Park Service's stand on it. Protect culture, no matter how crappy that culture is, and no matter what it costs the environment, no matter what it costs the native animals that they're supposedly protecting. How dare those animals try to live? These industries exist founded on the concept of selling the flesh and secretions of these animals. You cannot say that they aren't the ones to blame for the death of these animals. In fact, any advances in those industries are to make animals grow faster so that they can be killed sooner in life and replaced by more animals that will quickly grow up only to be killed. They exist to be killed. But you want to blame the people who have decided to stop purchasing the flesh of those animals and say that they are the ones to blame. Now look, I'm not telling you what to eat, but stop being completely full of crap when you're trying to justify continuing to be part of a problem. We need to make a choice. We can either act like lions with tapeworms that just eat meat all day long and only be around 400,000 to maybe 1 million of us, or there can be 8 billion of us that eat like primary consumers do. You don't get to claim to be tertiary consumers while having our population size without the planet collapsing.